There's no time for stalling in this Race to World First stratness as more bosses continue to fall. Kind of, I feel like we've missed our predictions pretty much every single day for this Race to World First, but today I feel like we were spot on with what we predicted at the end of the show yesterday.
Yeah, you said 40% on Sarkareth only after prompted, but that is exactly where we're at, basically, which is wild.
I mean, looking at the Warcraft Logs time machine, so basically Liquid at this current moment of recording have Sarkareth down to 42.5%, Echo have Sarkareth down to 49%, and then Method also progressing Sarkareth at 59.5%. If we take a look back 24 hours ago, Liquid were still at 38% on Neltharion, and then Echo and Method were both, getting close on Neltharion, close to a kill, but nobody was necessarily within striking distance. We did project that Liquid was going to be able to down that boss, which they ended up doing at the very end of their night yesterday.
Yeah, credit to Liquid as well. They were doing it. They did it in first and in fewer pulls than Echo as well, which is rare to see that combination, especially out of Liquid, because they usually pull faster and more than Echo.
All right, tell me if this is controversial, but I feel like Liquid has played better than Echo so far this tier. And now this is only through 8 out of the 9 bosses, but their pull counts have been really good. And I think that just some of the stuff that they've been doing with like their gearing and their strategy of how they're pulling the bosses has looked a lot better this tier.
It's looked good. Yeah, I think it depends on the fight. Some of the earlier and less important fights, I think the opposite's true, but it definitely seems that way, especially on like Zaskarn seemed like that. Yeah,
Zaskarn, Magmarax, and Neltharion were all done in less pulls for Liquid than Echo, which is, I think that's like a huge deal.
Yeah, it's definitely not good news. Although, I mean, the fact is still that Echo are going to bed.
I feel like Echo's ahead still
now.
Yeah,
they're going to bed well ahead of where Echo or where Liquid were when Liquid went to bed the night before, which is still like
like
if you think about a tier where Liquid dominated, right? Like Nyalotha, it was going to bed. They were going to bed ahead and waking up ahead, which hasn't been happening this tier.
That I don't know if that's gonna happen again. I think I think the guilds are so good now that I don't know if that's gonna happen. I mean,
it happened on Jailer as well, but that was like a special tier.
Well, that was the white flag. Like the moment that they went to bed behind and woke up behind and stuff like that, it was like, all right, well, this is over. Okay, so basically, Neltharion fell for Liquid at the very end of the raid night last night. They did a couple of pulls off stream. I don't know, probably like 5 or something if I had to guess. Got some data. I know they sent their analysts to pull Sarkareth off stream as well. Made them have a late night. What happened with Echo this morning? They like banged out Neltharion right after lunch. Yeah.
Yes, they came in, worked on Echo Neltharion, finished it off, and then started Sarkareth progression while they could. Got some good early pulls in. When they went to bed, they were ahead at 49%. Since then, Liquid have overtaken down to 42.5. The way this fight works is it's like time-based on the phases too. So that is like the start of phase 3 kind of for both guilds who are using a pretty similar strategy to each other. Nasty fight on Mythic, although it seems a little bit easier than other Mythic end bosses have seemed, right? Like you kind of remember Razageth Prog and even Sylvanas Prog, Jailer Prog especially, though, it was like we didn't see those later phases until later days of progression. But here we're seeing pretty much the whole Sarkareth fight right at the start, and now it's just probably a little, another couple minutes of P3 and then a damage check.
What do you think about Liquid already dropping from 5 healers to 4 healers, where we saw Echo pretty consistently playing 4 healers? Or 5 healers, sorry. Echo pretty consistently played 5 healers.
I think the 4 heal is probably what you're going to need to kill this boss, so I think swapping to it early is... I mean, if you're going to lose... The thing is, if you're going to wipe to stuff that like a 5 healer Band-Aid would cover, and then by the time you drop the healer, you're not going to die to it, then it's bad. But, if you are ready for it or almost ready for it, I think it's good to just rip the Band-Aid off and play the 4 healers from the start if you can. So I think that's smart.
So allegedly, there's not... so sometimes we talk about, is there potential for a Mythic only phase? Is there potential for a secret phase? It does not look like that is currently the case with Sarkareth. I saw some stuff via data mining, and it seems like there is a uncategorized spell, but more often than not, you kind of have some uncategorized spells that are at least attached to some things, and so you can kind of predict, is there going to be a Mythic only phase? Is there going to be a Mythic only mechanic? And it doesn't seem like there's something that was not listed in the dungeon journal.
Historically, Blizzard does not do a great job of hiding secret phases or secret bosses or anything like that
Yes.
from data mining. And now this could be the first time they've really done it, right? But this is the only time. Like so far, I haven't heard the rumblings about like, oh, there's these abilities that we think are in this phase, or oh, there's yeah. I mean, that's the main thing, right? Like you think back to Jailer, was several of those abilities were data mined and talked about before the phase was actually reached, right? You think about Sylvanas even, there was that file that was like Mythic 45, Heroic 50
So
that
we
was
knew, yeah.
seen. Yeah, that was like the morning of that Echo, found that discovery. Liquid already knew about it, and were expecting it.
And then
So
like Wowhead had posted about it the day of as well, or like they'd also known. Like it's just something that, yeah, like you said, I think Blizzard typically not great at being able
but
to hide that stuff.
this time maybe there is something. I don't know. I feel like with this much health though, I think that it is just a
Just the boss.
burn.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think you just have to do the dam.
it's been kind of interesting. This is one of the raid tiers that I think that they've been pushing faster bosses just in general. So, with Neltharion, it wasn't like this long drawn out encounter. We're gonna have basically no bosses that you would have double lusted this tier.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely nothing. Nothing over like 8 minutes, even. Nothing over like 6 minutes, basically. I mean,
Sark is gonna be 9, right?
yeah, unclear exactly how long you can keep P3 going, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect it to go over 10 though. I was expecting maybe the 8:30 to 9 minute mark for Sarkareth.
Yeah, I think it's under that unless there is a
Oh, interesting. Okay.
secret phase or something, but
Yeah.
we will see. I mean, the thing about these early pulls as well is that sometimes the damage check is like it requires like they're pushing into P3 at a certain percent, and it turns out they actually need to be 5% under that or something, which always is a big optimize. So I don't know. Right now we are only still less than 50 pulls into Sarkareth, right? So the fact that it's already almost half dead is kind of wild.
Are we worried this can die tomorrow?
I think there's a reasonable chance that this time tomorrow the race is over. Yeah, I'm not sure how
Do you think Echo
long the
wins?
boss will live. I mean, I think that there's a good chance. I think it's just going to come down to who plays better in the next 24 hours because I do think there's a really good chance that if there's not like a mythic phase or something like that, or if it's not just tuned so that like
Yeah.
with their current DPS they can only get it to 10%, which is maybe possible, right? It's possible that it's tuned like that. We don't know
and
yet, but
I mean, there's also a possibility that Echo has to do some reprog on this boss too with the 4 healers, depending on what they think about.
Healer may. I suspect there's a good chance they'll come in tomorrow and start with that if that is something they think they're going to need to do.
Yeah, I mean, but 16 hours to get 40% on an end boss. I mean, it's not.
It's
not-
like
it's not
that would be a
unreasonable.
lot, but they already did 60% in like 8 hours. So
Yeah.
when you think about it like that, it's and when you compare the rest of the tier as well, it seems like it's just been a pretty low tuned tier in general.
Yeah. Okay. So last thing we want to talk about Method. They ended up recently downing Neltharion, and this has actually sparked the conversation. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and we still weren't like super sold on this being a 3-horse race. We still thought that Method was pretty much an outsider. But now I think with the killing of Neltharion, I mean they're not neck and neck with both Echo and Liquid on Sarkareth, but they're definitely keeping it close. I mean, I think they're going to end up killing the final boss within half a day, maybe, of both of the other two guilds at current projected pace.
Yeah, I don't think they're far behind at all. I do think that it's going to be pretty hard for them to get first, but yeah, second is definitely still on the table for them, and obviously, I mean, first is still on the table, but it's still a big long shot.
Here my thought process. I think that there is a world where they can get second, but I think it's a world where Echo or where Liquid actually ends up getting third. I don't think it's
Exactly. I think that's the main way it would happen as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's a world where Liquid wins. I think it's a world where Echo and Method. It seems like the European guilds have been playing a lot of catch up every single additional day. And then we were like really firmly in like slingshot mode where it's kind of weird because Liquid normally is like in the lead most of the time during slingshot mode, but it feels like Liquid is actually kind of the guild that's been, I don't want to say playing catch up because they're killing every single boss first, but then Echo and Method wake up and then they immediately kill the boss that Liquid just killed right before.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, Liquid are still spending, I think, the majority of the day ahead, but depending on how much prog they're going to be able to make here, Echo are going to wake up only 10% behind or something like that. They're going to have a full day of Sark Prog ahead of them. I think that it's going to come down to if it's killable this week. Because if it's not actually killable this reset, I think that guilds are likely to finish progression this reset. And then if it is just a question of like, oh, we need next week's gear, that would be bad.
So I think the highest chance for at least, okay, say Sarkareth is killable quickly. I think the highest chance for Echo to win is they kill it within the next day. They're able to take it from 50 to 0, basically within the next 16 hours of their raid day. I think for Liquid to win, they need to, hope that Echo doesn't kill it within their 16-hour raid day, and then Liquid is able to kill it within the next 16 hours of their raid day. And they still have probably like 8 hours left on their current raid day. Maybe like somewhere between 6 and 8 hours left on their current raid day. So they're going to get Sarkareth probably to. I don't see a reason that we couldn't see 30%.
Liquid have been pushing it late as well, going like over midnight local time, whereas here, Echo stopped at like 9:40 p.m. because they need to be going to bed in case they need to wake up for their 5 a.m. reset on Wednesday.
Yeah, they wanted to blast through that Neltharion kill, and I think that I saw a tweet by Soren that talked about like pivotal moments of race firsts, and he was like, if Liquid does end up winning, then Neltharion might be that pivotal moment for them.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Any final thoughts? Any final comments? What do you kind of project for tomorrow? Do you think the race is going to be over?
7%. That's
for
my
who?
prediction.
7% for who?
Sarkareth.
By which guild?
Echo. And actually, I guess if that's happening, then they're probably still going. So I don't know. Maybe not.
All right. Driving us with the 7%. I don't know, man. I think I like your guess, because I just don't see what's gonna stop them from killing this boss except for HP, which is
I think it will though. It's a lot of HP.
Yeah, exactly, and it might be one of those situations where they end up having to do the Jaina maneuver where damage really, really matters, and so then we start optimizing the whole fight, or like N'Zoth. I think probably N'Zoth is a little bit better, where we start optimizing the whole entire fight to make sure that we have better damage for Sarkareth. I don't know. Maybe I think I like your guess. I think 7%. I'm down to roll with that one too.
All right. Well, we'll have to check back in then on that tomorrow.
The race is going to be over. We're going to look foolish.
Yeah, it could be. Anyways.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.